Hey everyone, welcome back to I Know a Guy. I'm Anthony, and this is the podcast where connections thrive. Each episode, we spotlight inspiring entrepreneurs, professionals, and individuals doing amazing things. Together, we'll grow your circle, spark collaborations, and discover new opportunities. Today, we're meeting Mitchell Vine, founder of Redemptive Marketing Collective, an agency dedicated to ethical, purpose-driven marketing that puts relationships and long-term impact above quick wins. Through a network of talented creatives and strategists, Mitchell helps mission-minded businesses connect with the right experts and authentically grow your brand and make a difference. How you doing today, Mitchell?
I am amazing. Thanks for asking.
No, I was excited to have you on. I'm happy you're doing well. You're doing some cool things. You're a fellow Iowan, at least, recently. So I was excited to have you on. A lot of people out there would benefit from getting to know you. So to start off, where are you located here in Iowa?
I am out in the middle of the cornfields, so southeast Iowa, Mount Pleasant. It's like a little Hallmark town. If you can imagine any of those Hallmark Christmas movies, that's where I live, right there.
That is an accurate description of rural, southeast Iowa. So, yeah. Absolutely. Well, how long have you been there? Are you newer to the area, or are you a lifer?
I would kind of wish I was a lifer, but no, I recently moved here in 2020. I bounced around from Michigan to New York, back to Michigan, and then out to Iowa for some reason out in 2020, and I've been here ever since. Can't leave.
Yeah, no, you get stuck. It happens. But anyway, so if you have friends coming into town to visit that have never been to Iowa, what are you doing? Where are you going? What are you doing for fun? And what's for dinner?
What's for dinner? I'll start there. There are about 5 pizzerias in my town or 5 Mexican places. So we're probably going to be going to one of those 2 options. But anything for food or anything for fun, I would definitely lean into what they enjoy doing. Depending on if they don't want to just go on a walk and look at cornfields, then maybe there's a local theater here in town, one of those old-timey theaters. I love going there. And then if not, just walking around at night. The scenery is nice out here. A lot of stars. So
yeah, absolutely. And why decide between pizza and Mexican food when you can go to Casey's, the gas station, pick up a taco pizza? It's awesome. It sounds wrong. People from not here in the Midwest don't know, and they're wrong. So
it's true. It's true. I remember having my first taco pizza when I first moved out here. I was like, "This is incredible. How come I've never heard of this before?"
Yeah, it's amazing, and we get a lot of shade because you get pizza from a gas station. We do, and it's awesome.
But it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So awesome. Well, what can you tell us about what you do?
What can I tell you? Well, it's unique. I have looked for as many different people as I can trying to do this, and the closest that I've come to is a marketing agency, and that is even scratching the surface of what I'm trying to do. And really what it comes down to is I have built a tremendous network over time and just asking people, how can they serve people in the marketing space and how can they do it authentically? Because marketers are notorious for being spammy and sleazy and all they care about is money. And truthfully, I don't want that to be my motivating factor. And so I connected with people that do graphic design, web design, SEO, podcast editing, just anything that you can think of realistically, even on the strategy and the VA side of things. And then they just come together. And then with all the different conversations I can have with people, I just plug in those specific needs. Kind of like if you're on a, what is it? If you're on a boat and your boat is sinking with different holes, all with marketing needs, I just look for the person who knows how to plug that one hole. And then we move on to the next problem, whatever that might be. So
that's awesome. Is this something you've always wanted to do, or is there a story on how you got to where you are?
It's definitely a story. Long story short, I am never considered myself to be a marketing person by any means. I did freelance videography work for a lot of nonprofits for about 9 years or so. And I realized that almost every nonprofit had a really good mission, but they just never knew how to tell their story. And if they did know how to tell their story, they didn't have the resources to tell it very well. And so that was my heart for about 9 years or so. Then I moved into doing it full time. And I just wanted to do it to the best capacity, I would say. And I don't know, it's gone pretty well so far. So I can't say I've always wanted to do it. I'm definitely more person to person, but if there's a need that can be met, I want to make sure it's met as much as I can. So
absolutely. What is it that you love most about what you're doing now?
What do I love the most? I love the moments where someone says, I didn't know we needed that, or I didn't realize how important that was. Or even here's a quick example. I just built a little website for a daycare here in town, and hearing all the different people talking about, wow, you have a website now? That's incredible. You've been up for almost 4 years and you still don't have one, or whatever it might be. Then just hearing all the different people talking about how important it is to have a digital footprint in some shape, form. So if someone Googles XYZ near me, you actually pop up, and that's a really big deal. So I definitely enjoy seeing people have those light bulb moments like, oh, wow, this is good. This is important. I need the help with this because I don't know how to do this, whatever that looks like. I love those moments. Just not that I love the power control of, oh, I'm smarter than you, I can put this together. Realistically, it's just a servant complex of, oh, you need help with this? I would love to give you time and effort. And if you can pay me resources, that's a bonus. So
Absolutely. Yeah, you don't know what you don't know, and when somebody's able to help you, there's something about that where you're like, this is going to save me problems that I didn't even know were coming my way. So appreciate that. Helping me with the problems I see is one thing. Helping me with the ones that are sneaking up behind me with a rolling pin, right? Appreciate you.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
awesome.
Absolutely.
So when you're looking at like your average client or the people you're best able to serve, what does that look like? If there's somebody out there going through X, Y, or Z, those pain points, and you're the person that they should be talking to, what does that look like?
I would say the primary problem that they have is that they're unheard. So whether they are an organization or a business, they just need to be known in their community. 9 times out of 10, most of the people I am working with are the more, how do I say it? The brick and mortar locations are definitely helpful because I would love for them to be plugged into the community around them first and foremost, because if you're plugged into a community, that's an ecosystem that you can really tap into. The digital space is good and it is important, but really being known and heard and understood in your local community is very important, especially if it's a nonprofit organization, say a homeless shelter or a daycare situation. Being known in the community is very, very important. But if I could describe the clients that I work with the most, they're typically driven by faith or a little bit more of a purpose driven behind it, whether they're understanding maybe it's a church related organization or something missionary focused more overseas. Those are the people that I've worked with the most up until this point.
Okay. And then when you're looking at like power partners, other industries or other professionals out there that you can synergize well with, find a lot of opportunities to collaborate with, just refer back and forth with, what does that look like?
Anybody who is of the same heart and mind, realistically. I love the picture of what a church is supposed to look like. A lot of churches do not do things the way that they should be, but the way a church is supposed to look like is supposed to be a body, and it's supposed to be a lot of different people with the different fingers and the different moving parts. And so anybody who has different skill set in the marketing space that needs more connections, I'd love to just refer other people, just be a massive referral network. So if someone has, say, graphic design or SEO or copywriting, any different marketing skill that they don't want to be a freelancer per se, and they're just looking to connect with more people that want to serve their audience with the faith-driven or the purpose-driven audience, that's the typical people I love to partner with.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Why when you want to partner with people that you share, values or belief systems with, because that makes the most sense. You guys, synergize here, probably synergize on the business thing. It carries over. It's not just only here and I'm here, and then on this side you're the same person.
So exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely finding those folks. What advice would you give to a new or an aspiring entrepreneur?
Buckle up. It is a ride. I definitely would say definitely count the cost if that is something you're going into. Make sure financially you can get all your ducks in a row and you're not carving yourself into debt over it, because that is definitely not worth it in the long run. But definitely perseverance and endurance is a must have, and if you know that is not something built into your character, make sure that you have that before you get into this, because it will test you. It'll push you to your limits and then some. And especially just having a good solid community around you. A lot of people talk about having business coaches or just different kind of mentors and guides in your story, and those are very important, very essential. I definitely wouldn't be doing this anymore if I didn't have a pretty good community building me up. But yeah, no, endurance is everything, and if you don't have that, I mean, the whole running a marathon mentality, like your marathon ends when you die. So if you cannot keep it up until that end or retirement, some people say that too. I don't know if I'll have retirement, so we'll see. But
Yeah, no, it's great advice because it all sounds shiny from the outside. You know, the grass is always greener. Oh, I've been working the same job. I want to be my own boss. I want to work half days. Okay, which 12 hours do you want to work? Right?
Exactly.
You know,
weekends too, holidays.
Yeah. Turns out, you know, you're it, and then you only get to blame yourself. You can't really blame the boss. I do, but you know, it's because you know I'm crazy. You have to be a little bit crazy to want to be an entrepreneur. No, so absolutely fantastic advice. It's worth it for the people that it's worth it for. Right? So don't let it dissuade you if you think try it. Worst case scenario, go back to whatever you were doing. It's absolutely worth the shot, though. So, how can a values-based marketing approach set your business apart?
That is a good question. First thing that pops into my head when you say that is when people think of marketing, typically, like if I throw out, oh, I do marketing, or hey, I do this, most people, they're a bit standoffish, like, oh, you do marketing? I don't want to interact with you now because it's just, there's such a negative connotation that comes with marketing. And I remember when my friend even asked me what I do and I explained it. But when he said, oh, you do marketing, I was like, no, I don't do marketing. I don't want to be known for that. And then he repeated everything back that I just said to him. He's like, Mitchell, you do marketing. That is what you do. And so I really needed the word marketing to be redeemed for me because I didn't even want to use it myself. And so really coming from a purpose-driven or a values-driven position, I don't want to do marketing for someone that I don't believe either deserves to be marketed or what they're actually trying to do. If it really just comes down to money for them, I don't really want to help them because money isn't it. I can't, that's not a hill I will ever be able to die on. And so when I'm interacting with different people and they ask, oh, what's the point in this? Well, marketing is important. You do need to be heard, known, understood if you're really trying to help the audience that you want to help. But it does not have to be sleazy. Like if I came and I started talking to you and we never met before, and in the first 30 seconds you're hearing my elevator pitch, I'm doing something wrong. That is not good marketing. That is very inauthentic. That's sleazy. That's the snake oil, all of that. I can't stand it. And if someone actually wants to go through with that style, I just can't work with them. And so I think that's really, I even had a call earlier today with someone and they said, man, your business name was like Redemptive Marketing. Well, that's not a word that I've heard in front, even interactive with the marketing space. And I was like, good, that's what I'm hoping for, because I want to be so set apart in the marketing space that they know, oh, I met him. He was actually authentic. He cared about who I am as a person. And we talked about marketing. That was just a plus. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And to that point, even those people don't like those people. Right? It's funny because, you know, like you said, if you're getting pitch slapped or somebody's coming at you just commission breath, just bad, you know, you're immediately put off. It's never really worked for anybody. I mean, it must have at some point, maybe, but I've never seen it work. But then if you were to just turn around and do that to them, they're just as off put as everybody else. And yet it doesn't click that it's like, that's not the best way to do it. So yeah, absolutely. Love the trying to set yourself apart as far away on that bell curve from that. So absolutely.
As far as possible.
Yeah, maybe a step further. So how can collaboration with a marketing collective lead to better client results?
One of my favorite parts about the collective is that everybody is talking about other people. So I love that even the origin of how it all came together is someone asking me to do a website for them. And my immediate thought was, oh, I'm not that great at website design, but I know somebody who is pretty good. So like you should talk with them and connect with them. And so having this really solid vetted network that I've started to build up, having that unity mindset everybody's on the same team, and we're not all in competition over each other. Yes, I've got graphic designers and website designers and SEO people that all have different price ranges, and even the different interactions with them, I'm not always sending them to the highest person or the lowest price. It's a fair community, and so really just taking time, sitting down, even making sure prayer is involved every now and then, just to make sure I'm not biased in my decision making. It's just a really cool working body. I'm in a big family. I've got 10 siblings. And so I can think about, yes, really big. Yeah. Not cheaper by the dozen big. We were close though. But it was really cool to think about how jokes that would be made about my family being like, oh, that's a whole baseball team right there. Or, oh, you could go do this. Or, oh, you could go do this. And I can think through different projects that, say we went to go get groceries, everybody grabs 2 bags and we've got all the groceries in the house. Typically, that's on a good week. But it's that idea of like that teamwork and that community and that camaraderie, like the many hands make lights work. When there's no competition involved and we're actually all wanting the good of other people, that's when it really comes to play of the golden rule: do unto others what you would have them do unto you. So there really is a very nice, I mean, synergy is definitely a word for it, but just that unity of mind and just wanting other people to do well, whether it doesn't work out well for you. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that mindset that really comes from maturing in business, because when you start off, it's hard for somebody to start off and already have that mindset. A lot of it's, you know, I got to get a sale. I have to do this. You have that commission breath. You maybe are pitch slapping people. You might be that guy, and then hopefully you learn fairly quickly, hopefully immediately, that doesn't work. And then you find that group of people that are going to advocate for you and your business when you're not around, and you're going to reciprocate. Because if somebody asks you, hey, can you help me with this? And you're afraid to say no, I can't, you're going to end up taking on so much more than you can handle. You're not going to be great at it. You're going to kind of dilute what you're doing. It's going to be confusing, and you're going to waste a lot of time for no real extra benefit. Where what you should be comfortable saying is, no, I can't, but, and then make the introduction, whether it's I know a guy or, you know what,
I was about to say, yeah.
that's just maturing in business. So absolutely fantastic. So how can businesses align their marketing strategy with their mission and purpose?
Well, I want to say it's easy, but at the same time, you really have to go down to the roots of why you are doing what you're doing. I think it's Simon Sinek that really made that popular, of just like, what is your why? And does it actually motivate what you're doing just as a whole? I think Donald Miller also was the one that did Story Brand, just that idea of the story that you were telling on a day-to-day basis. Are you making yourself the hero in the situation? Are you making your audience member, the one you're serving, are they the most important one in the story? So what it really comes down to is who you are, why you exist, the purpose that you believe that you have on this earth. Because everybody, we are given a purpose. We aren't just walking around accidents. I'm sorry, the Big Bang thing, there's no way it was an accident. But it's just that idea of, as we're moving forward in this life, what you're tapping into your skill set, tapping into just the different ways that you can really benefit society as a whole. And then hold that, grab that, stretch it out, and really inspect the wording all over it. Yes, SEO is important, but at the same time, knowing what you believe and acting upon it, that is way more important. And then having that bleed into everything that you do with your business. Your marketing is just how you talk about what you do. That's not a bad thing. I know a guy who loves Legos, and he'll talk about Legos anytime I interact with him. It's not a bad thing. It can get annoying, but talking about what you love is not a bad thing. And so if you're passionate about it and you want to talk about it, do so, but also make sure you're asking questions and everything, so it's not just a one-sided conversation. But yeah, no, really get down to the root, and then hold on to that root. And even I like putting it up on like sticky notes and stuff like that in different areas, so I'm actually seeing over and over, okay, I'm doing what I'm doing for X, Y, and Z. Oh, I'm in the kitchen, I'm getting some carrots out. Oh, it's on the fridge, I need to remember that. So just that repetition is so important.
Absolutely. This has kind of been the key point throughout this whole thing, but to ask it kind of bluntly, why you? What sets you apart from anybody else out there that might be doing something in the same industry as you?
I think, well, I'm relatively sure that faith is definitely a primary proponent for me. I'm a firm believer that everybody's created in some shape or form by a God, and God has an elaborate plan that I know barely a fraction of. But I'm trying to walk that out as best as I can with any conversations that I can have with Him. And so I really appreciate how, if we take the number of how many humans exist on the planet right now, how many of them are going to try what I'm doing right now? I don't know. I really don't know, but I know that I'm doing it right now, and I'm going to do it well, and I'm going to do it the best that I can. And so if someone else starts doing what I'm doing right now and I connect with them, I'm going to try and connect with them and see if we can merge, because I just want it to grow and I want it to multiply and I want it to help other people. So how unique am I? I mean, I'm pretty sure you don't have the same pants on that I do right now. Even if you're listening to this right now and you are wearing jeans, okay, but it's not this pair of pants. And that's how I kind of picture it with this business. Is this business special? I think it's a really unique thing. I can't wait to see what God does with it, and I'm going to keep leaning into it, whatever that looks like down the road. So
Absolutely. Is there anything that I missed or that I failed to ask that you wanted to add?
I think that people would be very shocked to know and understand that they do not have to be as competitive and petty in business. And if they actually were willing to help and serve other people without compensation, that they would be blown out of the water with, oh man, I would love to connect you with this person. Oh, but it'll cost you. Like, I just, any kind of interaction like that, just throw it out the window. Help other people, serve them, be the kind of person that you want to interact with. And I guarantee you, there will be reaping and sowing that you won't even understand. It's just how the world works. You can't get around it. It's how it's always worked up until this point. But yeah, just really lean into just helping people for the sake of helping them, and you'll be surprised how things come back around.
Absolutely. It's been defined and reiterated so many times by so many different people, it can't not be true. Zig Ziglar, help enough people get what they want, you get what you want. Karma, golden rule, reap what you sow, the go-giver. There's there's more and more and more every single day. Everybody just tries to describe this thing that's happening. And a lot of it is just having that abundancy mindset, knowing that I don't need to win everything. I don't need to be the person for everybody. I can just add value to everybody. The universe is like a giant vending machine or a slot machine that if you put $1 in it, eventually 2 are going to come back out. So how many dollars do you want to put in it? I'm looting the couch. I'm finding all the spare change. I'm throwing it all in there because I'm just going to let it work for me, right? Why would I fight it? It's a natural law. It's just like gravity. We keep describing it because it keeps happening. So why not? So absolutely. For those that want to ask questions, for those that, would like to have a deeper conversation, kind of figure out, where you might have those synergies or how they might be able to work with you, what's the best way they get a hold of you? Where can they find you?
Right now, contacting me through my website at the Redemptive Marketing Collective.com. That'd be the primary source. Fill out a discovery call. I'd love to just talk to anybody and everybody. My email information is all on there as well. That would be the two primary ways, but I also run a podcast. So if anybody would like to be a podcast on that and they think they've got a redemptive story that they want to share, whatever that looks like, I'd love to have them on that, talk about what they're doing, what God's done for them, and then just put more stories out, just like what you're doing here, Anthony. Like, I just love talking to people, hearing their stories, and giving them a platform. So
absolutely. Yeah. The most fun thing that I've ever done.
it's wild, isn't
Turns
it?
out if I just trim all the excess off of everything that I've ever done, what's left is just talking with people, networking, getting to know one another, and that's it. That's the most fun thing. That's the purpose behind what I'm doing. So absolutely. Perfect. If anybody would like to get a hold of Mitchell, do it. Right? You're gonna walk away feeling better than you did going in. He's a wealth of knowledge. He's doing it for all the right reasons, and you're gonna pick that up by having that conversation. He's the exact same as in a one-to-one as he is here. My only question for him at this point is, what's that foot on the shelf behind you? I've been staring at it this whole time.
Short story. In middle school, I was actually a clown. So I worked as a clown. And I remember my dad gave me like this magazine of like clown gags. And he's like, pick out anything. I was like, I want that foot. I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but I want this foot. And so it has been one of my prized possessions ever since middle school.
Okay, perfect. I just had to ask because I've been staring at it this whole time going, I wonder
I'm
what's
glad
going
you could tell. Some people can't. So
It was the toes anyway. So if anybody would like to get a hold of Mitchell, absolutely do it. I'm putting all that in the show notes. Reach out and have that conversation. Other than that, if anybody would like to get a hold of me, you can find me at my website at ikag.me. You can find more episodes, subscribe to our newsletter, and connect with our growing community of awesome people like Mitchell. If you or somebody you know would like to be interviewed, you can also apply on the website. But Mitchell, thank you so much for coming on. Just being inspirational, being a decent person, right? We just need more of that.
I'm
Meet
trying.
more decent people. So I really appreciate that. Let's all go. Let's have an awesome day and grow our circles. All right.
All right. Sounds good.